Good afternoon, America. Welcome to the Asian All-American Podcast. I'm your host, Jasmine Kong, with my co-host, JCool. Rising from the ashes and working yourself out of the rubble takes tremendous courage and fortitude. In life, we go through many renovations to build a better and stronger you. Today, we have an inspiring story to tell you all. Finding the fortitude to pick up the pieces after tragically losing her father to leukemia is a lesson in courage. Tricia is a first-generation Filipino-American from San Jose, California. She plays on the women's basketball team at Mission College, and she is the #1 top-ranked three-point shooter in the state for the California Community College Athletic Association. We are so proud of you, and we're happy to have your voice here. Welcome, Trish. How are you doing in spite of everything in the world today?
Hi guys, thank you for having me. I've been doing actually pretty good, especially during this pandemic. How are you guys?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there.
Surviving, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's happened so long, and I'm not even used to it yet. I'm not used to this new norm. I'm still getting used to it.
Going to school though, Tricia, you're still in school, right? Yes.
Not right now. I'm actually in the process of. I'm already admitted into school, so I'm just doing all the stuff I need to get in.
Okay.
So, what are you currently doing or planning right now in your life?
Right now, I'm just getting ready for nursing school. I just got admitted to Samuel Merritt University for their nursing program. Yeah, I'm just getting all my documents together. Currently doing scholarships every day because it's so expensive.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's so expensive just for one semester. So every day I'm knocking out some scholarships. But that's what I'm currently doing right now.
All right. So we saw that your sister, she received the Dwight Clark Achievement Award. Seeing this as an older sister, how does this make you feel?
It makes me feel so my sister and I, we have this relationship where we don't show any affection. Kind of weird to say oh my god, congrats, because that's my little sister. But when I actually saw that she received the award and hearing her speak about it, I was in tears. And I'm because what she said in that video, I was with her through it all, and it just makes me proud that she was able to get recognized for that and she was able to share her story.
Can you tell us more about your upbringing and what you guys went through as a family?
Yeah, so let's see. We can start with my childhood. I am one of 6. So my dad and my mom had 5 girls, and then my mom had 1 son previous before. So we do have a big family. Growing up, it was just me and my 4 other sisters. Throughout my childhood, as long as maybe in kindergarten, I don't know how young, but my mom was a drug user.
Okay.
So she was in and out of jail throughout my whole life. My childhood was filled with memories of her using, me being in that situation most of the time with her. My dad would always keep her in check, but that would include cops coming to our house, her coming back, and then the cycle starts over. So that was throughout my whole childhood, and then, living with the person who uses and who's severely addicted, you start to normalize all her antics, her little paranoia, all the symptoms that come with it. So I thought it was I was so used to that growing up. And then fast forward to middle school, it was just me, my dad, my little sister, and my mom living in my house because my older sisters moved out, and were starting to start their own lives. And then it was in, I believe, 7th grade, where my dad was admitted to the hospital for cancer. That was actually his 2nd time getting it. He actually got it in 2009, but he was in remission for 2 years. So he got it again during that time. And then when he was admitted. Things were just going downhill from there. I was at home alone with my little sister and my mother, and her drug abuse just got worse because my dad was in the hospital. And then unfortunately, he didn't make it, and that just took off everything. Like, that's where it started. Like, it started to fall apart. I had social workers come daily to my middle school. Yeah, so they would take me out of class. They're like, oh, you need to go to the office. I was so confused why. And then I'd always get interviewed by the social worker talking about my house. They're like, oh, they would ask questions like, do you feel safe at your house? How are you getting your meals? Is your mother, what's my mom doing to fulfill her role as a mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this one turning point. I was interviewed. I was like telling them, oh, I take care of my sister. My mom doesn't clean. She's not cooking. I'm doing it. This is me, mind you, 7th, 8th grade. Yeah, like, I try to figure out, like, why did she start doing it? She had, like, 5 kids, nothing but wanting to not prove, but satisfy their parents. You know, like.
You know what? It always starts off recreationally. It always starts up with just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? And it just takes one bad day. Be like, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I mean, how did you get through that as a kid? Was it a mantra, or was it just like you just taking it day to day? It was just a daily grind. How did you stay positive, even positive?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how I went through it. I did take it. So it started in middle school when this all happened. I was with counselors, like, almost talking to them like 24/7 about everything was happening in my life. And I took it day by day. We were so, like, surprised on how well I was taking it.
I'm shocked. I am amazed.
I was like, oh, it's ignoring it. I was affected, like, emotionally.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of course.
The rest of your life, girl, watch.
My counselors, they gave me a free period after lunch. They gave me a free period just to nap in middle school.
Dude, that's people dude, you have to have some people that supported you. And obviously,
right.
Dude, come on, man. Big ups to that guy.
So, you know, with your mom and your dad, you know, out of the picture, and you just have your little sister, who were your role models? Who really, like, took care of you? Or did you have to do it yourself?
For the most part, I can't give all the credit to myself, but at the home, in the household, I was trying to take care of me and my little sister. I would distract her, I would go make her go in my room, we just hang out if my mom was having, like, an episode, you know? And my sisters were communicating with me through, like, even though they were living somewhere else, they're still communicating with me, make sure I had groceries, like. And then I also, like, did volleyball and basketball in middle school. So
sports was just kind of the way for you to, like, get away and work out some stress, and you just happen to be good at both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I was just always looking forward to go to practice, staying late, practicing extra. That, I believe that's what helped me, just staying at school.
Right. Man, like, imagine, like, other kids that came from similar backgrounds, like right now, that don't have sports right now. Oh man, they shit out of luck right now.
That is a blessing.
Yeah.
And you have that.
Like, I can thank my middle school counselors so much, and one of my English teachers. They were helping me through it all. Like, they even created a class. It was called PAVE, and it was for
that's amazing.
Yeah, we're, like, just not struggling, but they had something going on, you know what I mean? And they had a class just to write everything out. They put the kids first, and that was, like, one class. So I was just, like, so grateful for that.
And what school was this?
I went to JW Fair in San Jose.
Oh, okay. Shout out to JW. Well, I can kind of relate because I did this essay in college, and I wrote that school and sports were what I call my sanctuary. Because at home, for me, at home conditions were almost similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I was always looking forward to practice, to games, to seeing everybody and just putting that ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
Sounds cheesy, but I mean, that's what kept me going as well. Yeah.
So were many of your coaches, obviously they were like your support net as well, right?
Yes, even till this day. Every coach I've been on a team with, they are such blessings in my life. Even middle school, my counselor was my basketball coach also.
Oh, that's
nice.
She is my like number one even today.
Mm-hmm.
She was there for me, took me home, gave me rides, make sure I had food, everything. And then high school, I had my JV coach. She's like a second mom to me also.
Sure.
She actually coached my sisters, and my varsity coach, he actually coached my sisters too, and they knew my dad before.
Mm-hmm.
So they were there for me. Like, I don't know what, like, it's crazy. Like, they were placed in my life, and they just helped me tremendously. And in college, even in college, my college coach, you know Corey, right? Corey, he's always reminding me that he got my back and has helped me. Every person that stepped in my life is like a mentor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean that just kind of tells you that, you know, when you see or feel that someone needs something, or that's why you just got to go out and offer them what you can offer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and it makes
know how it turns out.
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate the people around you and who to value in your life,
Exactly.
which I think a lot of kids our age at least, don't see that.
Like, for example, I know somebody, like, say, like, my sister, sometimes my sister does this, like, she'll get mad at little things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just gotta appreciate everything else, and then it'll make you feel better, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so does that, obviously because other people helped you, I mean, it seems like you have a big heart for doing the same thing, right?
Yes. So right when I started high school, freshman year, I joined this basketball league. And it was like a recreational, not competitive at all, not like AAU. The director, the president, like the owner of that league, he took me under his wing. And then it was all volunteering. Like, if you want to play, volunteer, you know, like help out with the kids. I was later like a kids coach. I was coaching them. I'd do clock. And it was all about that association is all about giving back to the community, like it was basically like nonprofit. So I started there volunteering so many hours a week, and just like, because what people were doing for me, I wanted to do it back.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's good. So like, what is the first step in overcoming these seen and unseen obstacles, or to live the life you're living right now?
Okay, so it sounds like not like a mediocre saying like, oh, stay strong, but you really have to stay strong. Like, you just have to keep hoping and just hoping for the best, staying positive. Like, like when it was all going through, like with my sister, when losing my dad, I was just hoping and praying like things will get better and I'll be soon like reunited with my family. And then just always looking at the positive side of things. You just have to have this perspective where the world isn't ending, everything is temporary, and everything happens for a reason.
That's good. That's good.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm still at awe right now, man. You're fairly young. I mean, look, everyone has their story, but just to know how you had to overcome those insurmountable obstacles like that, man. Well, it seems insurmountable at the time. You're just grinding it out. I think that prepares you for real life, though. you have a different perspective straight up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to make you move forward and be a great nurse, because you can totally empathize. Let's talk a little bit about how you did as a student athlete at the time, from middle school all the way throughout the college.
So in middle school, I was starting to feel out like I've always liked sports, but never really did it when I was little. I didn't know why my parents didn't put me in anything, but right when I started in middle school, like, okay, I'm gonna try this. And then my volleyball team, like when I got there, we won our first like tournament.
What position were you?
I was outside hitter.
Wow, you were getting up.
And then we won, like we broke records right when I got there. And basketball, I started to like feel it out. I was not good. I was just athletic. So, I was always like a good student grades wise, not super smart, but I was like, and I just know in school, like I always wanted to get good grades to show my dad. Like I want to go home, I'm like, look what I got, like just show it off. I always wanted to satisfy and like just show him, like just make him happy. And then fast forward to high school, I started to get into basketball more and volleyball more. I made the varsity team my freshman year for volleyball, and I was starting.
Congrats.
Yeah. And then it was just like so fun. Sports in school is just like
yes,
I manage my time.
Yeah.
Because you have extracurriculars to balance with school.
It kept you distracted in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was like, okay, practice. It was like the norm. It was like and then sophomore year, I just kept grinding it out. Every year we would have like a ceremony for the athletes. Like it would be divided into class. So I'd always get like scholar athlete. I got freshman of the year out of like female athletes. And then I got sophomore of the year and scholar athlete.
Nice. Yeah. Wow.
And then I believe after sophomore year I tore my ACL. I didn't even know it. And I was like, fuck, my number one basketball. Like all I want to do is like play. And then even though I was injured, I was still going to practices. And then I finally got my surgery, like before my junior year. I finally got my surgery. I finished my season out. And then I finally got my surgery. And then when I came back, I believe like 7 months post-op, I tore my other ACL. So yeah, I went in the game and I tore my other ACL, and I was like, oh my God. I was like screaming, like, why is this happening to me? All I want to do is play. And then I was really tested, because when you tear anything and you get surgery, you're just in bed thinking like, wow, what am I going to do?
Dude, that's like, Mount Everest. Dude, that's both knees?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
how long did it take you before you started playing again after the first surgery?
The first surgery, so I was like on a timeline, 6 months. My doctor said 6 months, as long as I went to therapy 3 times a week. I went to like a special sports physical therapy too, so it was like focused on basketball and like all the mechanics of how to train my knee into that. So I was like really, I was like grinding it out, like, oh my God, this feels good to be back. And I'm back, and then I tear it again. It was like so devastating, because I'm like, should I give up, And I was like, maybe I should just not do it anymore. I had so many people like, no, just everything, just go, keep going. And then I did. And I didn't get to play my senior year, because that's when I tore my second ACL.
Shit.
And then fast forward to college, I wanted to play right away, like my freshman year. And my coach was like, "You're not ready. You're like 6."
So did you redshirt? How did you?
Months out. You're not. I redshirted. Yes, I redshirted.
All right.
I was wearing this big knee brace with metal, and
I remember that. I saw you at a tournament. I remember that.
I want to play so bad. And he's like, "You're not ready," and I'm like,
wow.
still, I was practicing. I was practicing every day with them, and I was like, I'm practicing, but I'm not playing.
Practicing that jump shot. I mean,
then,
like, look, you had to adjust your game. You said earlier on in your career you were very athletic. You probably, you know what I mean? You got that nice little wiggle.
I have the basketball league, the recreation. It's called BDL. I have them to thank for it because his name is Bert. He would actually pick me up every morning. He's like, let's go to the gym. Let's go get an extra. Like, even when I was like off of surgery, like I could still shoot. You could still do form shooting. Yeah. And then you rested jumping a little bit. He was there every day. Let's take some shots every day.
See, Uncle Bert. That's Tito Bert right there. Tito Bert.
Yes, Uncle Bert.
And he just, like, I knew part of it was because he just wanted me to do something, not be, like, in my feelings, like, not playing. But he helped me, like, shoot just taught me how to shoot.
Right. I think a lot of people don't know that there's every student athlete that goes through an injury, there's a mental aspect to it that you have to overcome. Because I went through that this year, and that was like hell. It was like going through a hole, and you feel like you never can come out. But I mean, that's amazing that you overcame that, and twice. Actually.
Hell.
And I'm just kidding. But actually, after my freshman year of college and redshirting, I was like getting back. I was like, okay, I feel better than ever. Like, I'm gonna do this. I was wearing no brace, mind you. I was wearing no brace, and I was like, wow. Like, I was like really like going to the bath because when you need to tear your ACL, you don't want to get hurt. And you don't want to go to the basket.
You're thinking about it. You're thinking.
You want to do it again because it's for me, it was like such a traumatic experience. You don't want to do it again. And then I actually did tear it again in that. Yeah. And one is it's still torn right now. But so I'm a junior. I spent 3 years, I mentioned, right? So my sophomore year going in is my freshman year playing. And then I had the brace on because it was torn. And nobody knew. And I was like, I'm just going to play through it. I was like, I'm ready to play.
Wow.
And I played 2 years that's why I have that big knee brace.
That just shows how much you love the game of basketball.
Like, I just want to play. Yeah.
Wow. I'm in shock.
I think, who's that shooter on your team, Jazz? Last year?
Janae Anderson.
Dude, she had bad knees.
She had an ACL injury too.
Dude.
Janae knee brace is huge.
Yeah, she's the number 1 shooter in the nation.
I remember her. I remember your team, Jazz. I was so intimidated by you guys.
Really?
I was like, remember, like, I think it was my freshman year playing. He was like, yeah, we're playing DVC. And I was like, okay.
Really? That's wow. I'm still in shock. I'm still trying to, like, take this all in because you're injured right now. You're still injured.
That's a lot. Man, I feel like you deserve a spa day every weekend for the rest of the year. You know what I mean?
But mind you, you got number 1 top ranked shooter in the state with those bad knees.
I know, because, like, we had so many injuries this year, or, like, last year. And
were those all coming dribble? Or dude, I mean, how'd you take those threes?
She came off. No, I remember watching game tape. You would come off the dribble, and she would catch and shoot it. She does both.
God damn.
Yeah, that's all, like,
big ups,
all
man.
those hours in the gym. That's all I did. He's like, "You're gonna do this in a game, so you gotta practice it." And so,
Ain't nothing like the coach giving you the green light.
You know what your coach is the one that wore the crazy ties all the time. Yeah, our coaches are buddies.
Yeah, he always talks about your coach, like, oh, he's my best friend.
Say.
Yeah,
that's great.
Hey, so real quick, because we are towards the end of our show here, let's talk about those heroes in your life. You know, those people that really that you love, that were there for you, that stuck by your side through thick and thin? I know you had many heroes.
I have so many heroes.
Without crying. Okay, just name one. Hey, just name one. Just name one that's just sticks out.
How about your current person helping you right now?
Who's your? Yeah.
I'd have to give it up to my older sisters, to be honest. Like,
Me too.
yeah, my older sisters, 3 of them. So I was in middle school. So the oldest one was in college in Davis, but she was still communicating with my sisters on what to do.
Wow.
And the next 2 below her, they were 19 and 21 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So when everything,
young.
yeah, when I remember this so vividly. It was after practice, and I had social workers with me and my little sister, and my sister Michelle was in the parking lot at the middle school, and they're all like just together, and the social workers like, she can't come home today. They can't come home today. We have to bring them to the shelter because it's not safe for them at home. And I remember my sister would be like, "It's okay, we're gonna get you guys." And then
wow. Wow.
I remember, yeah, and then I remember being in that car with my little sister, and my little sister's bawling, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, you cry, I cry too." So we're like on the way to the shelter, and then I remember just thinking to myself, if I cry, she's gonna cry. I have to stop crying. And then I'm like, okay, I stop crying. I have to be strong, and I just remember just telling her it's okay. And so during that process, we were in a shelter. Thankfully, we went to a foster home. And then during that time, over maybe like a year or so, maybe less, my sister Melissa and Michelle, they were 19 and 21. They were able to meet with the social workers, get an apartment, their own apartment together. We had our own beds there. They made sure that we were able to live there. So they had to prove that to the court, like we're the fitted guardians.
Wow.
Custody battles with my mother. And then they got their own apartment. They adopted us legally. And then they did that all for my little sisters and I.
That's amazing.
My 3 older sisters will always be my heroes for that. Like, no matter how,
of course,
they'll make me mad one day. If like I don't want to do something for them, I'll always think about they didn't have to do what they did for me and my little sister. You know, that perspective I always try to have. Like, even though you want to be a brat, like you want to like say you want to do things your way, you want to put yourself first, but at the same time you have to look at it like, okay, this perspective is like they did things for you. Don't do it because you want to pay them back, but do it because you sincerely appreciate it.
That's amazing, because I mean, I feel like the lesson here is through great tragedy, you guys are now bonded in an unconditional way. And I can relate, because it's like that with our story and the Cambodian American story. Through surviving the war and the genocide, that tragedy has bonded my family in unconditional ways, just like yours. And that's amazing. Yeah.
You know what? Unfortunately, we are at the end here. But I would just like to say, and I'll let you have the floor, Jasmine, to close us off. I just want to say, I mean, my jaw would be on the ground.
You're gonna lost for words.
I want to go and take you and your sisters out for a nice dinner or whatever the case is.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
Meet
Let's
everybody
go
down. You know, but just like Jasmine said, there's I mean, the only way in life to become like this compassionate and amazing person, you have to go through shit. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, go ahead.
That's like the unfortunate, like some people like they
have to hit rock bottom.
You know what I mean? Like you have to go through some things to actually be in this perspective. But that's why I want to help people who don't know. Like I want to share it. You know what I mean?
Great. And I know you're working on a book, right?
Oh, yeah. Finish that up. Yeah.
Not just like, oh, let me talk about my life. Not like that. I just want to talk about how to get through it when things go bad. It's like your stereotypical type of quote, but it's true. It really is true. Like,
to
there
be
are
strong.
ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is my story. Let me show you how
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait till it's published.
All right, close us out, Jazz. Close us out.
Well, thank you for listening. So proud of you, Trish. We're very proud of you, and we only wish for the best for you.
We're gonna set up a hangout thing. So I gotta meet
yes,
your sisters.
We will. we're gonna do that for sure. Yeah, thanks for listening. Is there anything you want to tell people before we head out or whatever?
Give us a word or some words of like encouragement. There's a lot of people going through it right now. Some of them are unemployed. They lost loved ones.
The virus, everything.
Give us some words of encouragement, because you've gone through a spectrum of losses.
My word of advice is that you're going through what you're going through for a reason. It's going to benefit you more than you know. And like I said, everything happens for a reason, even if it's the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? You just always have to have a positive outlook. And yeah, just be strong.